Now, the European Union has offered to remove all tariffs on cars and industrial goods from the US, but President Trump now says it's not enough to make up for what he calls unfair trade. And the EU says it's tried to negotiate the so-called zero-for-zero deal weeks ago, but the offer remains on the table. Still, the bloc's trade ministers met in Luxembourg to discuss their first retaliatory tariffs set at 25%, aimed at countering US levies on steel and aluminium. Cullen has more.
Well, EU trade ministers meeting on Monday in Luxembourg had their first chance to take stock of everything that's happened politically and financially over the past few days. It was a chance for them to discuss the next steps and the next moves. Now, Maroš Šefčovič, who is the EU's top trade negotiator, top trade commissioner, he was leading those talks on Monday, and he said he thought it was only a matter of time before Brussels and Washington came to a mutually acceptable compromise. And the EU has so far outlined that it wants two rounds or two tranches of countermeasures to be imposed on the United States, although it's hoping that negotiations will bear fruit. The first of those dates to start collecting import duties would be the 15th of April, and then there would be a second round starting on the 15th of May.
We are not in a business to going, let's say, cent for cent or tit for tat or dollar for dollar, but we of course would consider what are all the other instruments which we have on the table.
This is all in response to the United States' imposition of tariffs on the automotive sector, of tariffs on the steel and aluminium sectors, and of those famous reciprocal tariffs announced by the US President in the garden of the White House on the 2nd of April. Now, the EU is hoping that negotiations will continue and it wants to avert a trade war, but there remains the possibility of what the French trade minister described on Monday as an extremely aggressive response by the European Union if talks with Washington fail. Cullen, CNA, Paris.